And we're back with week 2, day 2. So on this day we worked on some paused sumo deadlifts, pretty similar weight range to what I was doing last week. In fact, it's the exact same weight range that I did last week, except I found that the top single for the indicator set at 505 moved easier than last week. So really what I was supposed to do was go up in weight with my drop downs at 440 that you're seeing here. But as of right now, I don't have any 25-pound weight sets. I was supposed to have some, but due to shipping issues, I didn't receive them. So I'm going to be getting some next week, so hopefully by next week I'll be able to change the weights up a little bit. But since my top indicator set moved well, I just reduced the rest in between sets to increase the difficulty a little bit on the drop downs. That being said, there's tons of other ways you could increase difficulty if you find your indicator sets if you're training with this kind of strategy. There's certain other ways that you can make them difficult, such as holding the pauses for longer or increasing the tempo, or there's a million different ways you can do that. But got that done and worked on some pin press after that. And similar to yesterday when I was doing my my normal bench press, pin press felt a little bit harder than last week. So I went to my top indicator set at 6 of 230 instead of 245 like last week. Was still a little bit iffy on the last rep, so I just dropped it back to 225 for the repeat sets at 4 afterwards. But after that, moved on to some barbell rows and curls. But I got a question on Instagram about close grip bench press and whether I find that it's valuable as a competition grip for powerlifting purposes, and whether I value it as an accessory movement or variation for your normal bench press work. And in my opinion, I think you can get away with it for competition grip, but it's definitely not the norm. If you look at multiple world records in the International Powerlifting Federation, most of them are done with a pretty wide, if not max grip bench press. There's actually a little bit of controversy going on right now where there's been some prominent YouTubers and fitness personalities in the powerlifting world debating whether or not the grip width rules should be changed. So for anyone that doesn't know, max grip and bench press for powerlifting purposes in this federation is your index finger on the rings of the bar. And if you arch really hard and you incorporate that max grip, you're going to have a massively wide bench press for your frame, and you can get away with a lot less range of motion. I don't think that's necessarily a problem in itself, but it is worth noting that most of the records in the IPF are held by people who do both of those things. They have a fairly good arch, maybe not extreme, but pretty good, and a fairly wide bench press. So as far as competition movement, maybe not the norm, and it's not something I would normally train as a competition-specific movement unless you find it really works for you, but those would be, in my opinion, outlier cases. However, as a training tool, I think it's great. You increase the range of motion, it artificially lets you reduce weight on the bar and get more volume in your triceps because of the longer range of motion that's required to press. Anyways, thanks guys, take care.